Welcome to Inspiring People, the show about inspiring people, those who are inspired and those who inspire others. We all know them. They're good examples, they're supportive, they embrace life, they live inspiring lives in their day-to-day actions, and in turn, inspire others to do the same. Hi, welcome to Inspiring People. My name is Mary Otto. And my guest today is Peggy Jenson, and we're sitting in her very comfortable, cozy living room here. And so welcome to the show, Peggy.
Well, thank you.
I'm so glad that you're able to be on the show. I've been trying to get her to be on the show for a while, so here we go. Peggy, why don't you state your full name, please?
My full name is Winifred Jenson, but everybody knows me, most everybody knows me better as Peggy.
Okay, and when did you switch to Peggy?
Well, not until I was kind of grown up.
Mm-hmm. Thought Peggy was a better name than Winifred,
yeah.
Huh? Okay. Well, let's hear a little bit about you, Peggy. Let's start with your family. Why don't you tell us something about your family of origin, your mother and father, brothers and sisters?
Okay, I'll tell you about my father and mother. My mother was a school teacher. Well, first she came from Iowa in 1882 with her mother and dad in a covered wagon. Right. And they went to Star Lake, Minnesota, just down by Dent, and they lived on a farm there. And she graduated from Perham High School when she was 17, and after about 6 weeks of teacher's training, she started teaching school. And she taught rural schools for 7 years. And she taught the school where my dad lived in that district, and of course, everybody, a lot of the guys, young guys, they were always after the school teacher. But anyway, my dad won her heart, and they were married in 1904, and they homesteaded up in Grand Park Township. It's now part of the National Park.
Oh, very nice. So, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I had 5 sisters and 2 brothers, and they're all gone now except for one sister in the nursing home. She has Alzheimer's, and I have a brother who is younger than I am.
Okay, and so where are you in the
I am
line of
the
children
youngest of 6 girls.
Okay. And Peggy, so let's hear a little bit about your own family. I know you're married and you have a family, so why don't you tell us a little bit about them?
Well, I have 7 children. I have 5 boys and 2 girls, and my 2 oldest are retired. Brown's retired from teaching, and Roger's retired from the school district. And my other children are mostly all married. I have a son, Steve, who lives with me, and he's never been married. And I don't know what I'd do without him, because I live on 40 acres here.
You have 40 acres out here. It's a beautiful place out here.
And I have a big garden and a big yard, and without him, I just couldn't manage.
Well, that's really great. How about grandchildren? How many grandchildren do you have?
I have 12 grandchildren, 9 grandsons and 3 granddaughters, and I have about 17, I think that's the latest, great-grandchildren.
Wow, that's great. Well, one of the reasons that we're talking with Peggy is that she does a lot of volunteer work, and she's very involved with some charities and things here in the area. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the work that you do, Peggy?
Well, I used to be real active in 4-H when my children were young. They all belonged to 4-H. And I also have been in homemakers for many years, but so many of our homemakers have passed away now, so we don't have regular meetings anymore. But I try to get those who are still living together twice a year, once in June for a picnic, and again at Christmas time. So we get together and talk about the old times. And
And you do work with one of the nursing homes too, don't you?
Yes, I'm very involved at St. Mary's. My mother died there in 1972, and I have a sister there now. I also had a sister that died 4 years ago, and I was caregiver for her for about 6 years. So I spend a lot of time at St. Mary's. If my kids can't find me, I tell them, just call St. Mary's, I'll maybe be there.
And that's what I did too. When I needed to get hold of Peggy one day, I called St. Mary's. I said, they find her,
Yeah, that's right.
Which they did. Well, let's talk about some of your hobbies. If those of you who are watching have seen the paper this last year and maybe other years as well, you notice that Peggy's picture is often in there in regard to the fair and some of the flowers and plants and things that she has there. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your involvement with the fair and some of the prizes you've won as a result?
Well, I've been entering a lot in the last 15 or 20 years. And last year I had, I think, 40 entries, and I got about 35 ribbons, and I have quite a few Grand Champion ribbons over the years. I got Grand Champion on my flowers, on my coleus last year, and also on our potatoes. And my son helps me in my garden. I have a big garden. And with my big family, it's really come in handy. It's been really nice. I've had lots of vegetables. And I do a lot of baking. I like to bake. And
did you enter things in the fair for baked goods as well?
Oh yes, yes. I had baked goods and canning, and flowers, vegetables, and mostly baking. Oh, and then some handwork, some embroidery and things like that.
Okay. So do you basically keep all these vegetables and things for yourself, or do you? Well,
I used to can a lot when I had a big family, but now that they're all gone except for the one, I do a little freezing, but I mostly and I've sold a lot of vegetables over the years. I've worked in about 70 different homes and offices.
Oh, you have?
Besides doing my own work at home.
Okay, so what sort of work did you do when you were working in the offices and so on?
Well, in the I cleaned. I cleaned houses and I cleaned offices.
Okay.
I cleaned in one house for 50 years.
Oh my.
50 years, yeah.
Okay. And so to what do you attribute, I mean, you are in good health, you're active, you're vibrant, yeah, you look so nice. To what do you attribute these things, Peggy?
Well, I think mostly to keeping busy. I love to work. Some people call me not an alcoholic, a workaholic. And I'm happy when I'm busy and when I'm helping people.
So what do you like to do if you have any spare time? What do you like to do in your spare time?
Well, I do a lot of traveling, and now that I've gotten older, I do a lot of reading, and I do a lot of card playing.
What's your favorite card game?
I think Pinochle, 500, whist. Play all.
I grew up playing 500 and whist with family. It is fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah.
And what's some of the places that you've traveled that you really enjoyed?
Well, let's see. My husband and I went to Branson, Missouri many years ago. By the way, my husband passed away 10 years ago.
Okay.
And then we bought a travel trailer, and we spent about 17 winters in Arizona.
Oh,
and since he's gone, I still have gone there some. And then my daughters and I have flown to Orlando, to Boston, Philadelphia, and Seattle. And my oldest daughter and I, she's retired now from teaching, and we took a 17-day tour to Alaska.
Wow.
The year after my husband died. And that was wonderful, just wonderful.
You liked it up there, huh?
And I've also been to tours to Branson and to Nashville, Dollywood, and Graceland, and let's see, where else have I been?
Well, that's quite an impressive list already.
I've been in every state in the United States except for about 5.
Okay. Well, Peggy, this was a pleasure talking to you and getting a chance to let everybody know all of the great things that you're doing. You truly are an inspiring person. I want to thank you for being on the show.
Well, you're sure welcome.